Hi, everybody. This is Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and Geo Collaborate on this Saturday, October 25th, 2025. This is an update for the All Hazards Consortium, the sensitive information sharing environment, in preparation for Hurricane Melissa's impact on Jamaica that will take a few days to play out. This is going to be a shorter update, but I'm going to get right to the point so we can emphasize some of the impacts that we expect on the island of Jamaica. As of 2 o'clock this afternoon, Melissa has become a hurricane. Winds are now 75 miles per hour, and that makes it a Category 1 storm. The headline from the National Hurricane Center is pretty straightforward and incredible. Melissa becomes a hurricane and is expected to rapidly intensify into a major hurricane by the end of the weekend. Life-threatening and catastrophic flash flooding and landslides are expected in portions of southern Hispaniola and Jamaica into early next week. This is going to be a long duration event for Jamaica and also Hispaniola. Maximum sustained winds are at 75. Minimum central pressure is really dropping quickly, 980 millibars. And look at this movement, west-northwest at 1 mile per hour. The speed of movement for Melissa is not really going to pick up that much as it approaches Jamaica over the next couple of days. The next advisory from the National Hurricane Center, which will include a new forecast intensity and also a new track forecast, will come at 5 o'clock this afternoon. This forecast is the official forecast from the 11 a.m. update from the National Hurricane Center. A new one will be issued at 5 o'clock p.m. So the 2 o'clock advisory is really just updating the current conditions of the storm, which now makes it a hurricane. So Melissa is expected to rapidly intensify, and by this time tomorrow or 11 o'clock tomorrow, in less than 24 hours, become a Category 3 hurricane with 115 mile per hour winds, and then become a Category 4 hurricane for the next 48 hours until 11 o'clock on Tuesday, and then that may be extended depending on the impact that Jamaica has on the storm. It is likely to decrease in intensity somewhat after it passes over the island of Jamaica. There are high mountaintops on Jamaica that will disrupt the flow, particularly if the center of the storm moves right over the island. Now, remember in yesterday's update, I talked about that orange circle area once Melissa gets hurricane force winds that will show up in the middle of this radius of maximum winds. And indeed, now we have 75 mile per hour winds around the center of the storm. This is storm force winds of about 55 miles per hour, 55 to 73 miles per hour. And just outside is tropical storm force winds. You can already see, if you can picture placing this over on top of Jamaica, the tropical storm force winds would cover the entire island. Now, you can also see here that Jamaica is now under a hurricane warning. This is the red outline around the entire island. The entire island is under a hurricane warning now, which means hurricane conditions are expected within the next 36 to 48 hours. And because Melissa is moving so slow, it's going to take a long time to get to Jamaica with its core. But conditions will go downhill very steadily starting late tonight into tomorrow morning. Take a look at the forecast here. This is a 12-hour forecast. Winds are expected to be 90 miles per hour. 24 hours from now, or from 11 a.m., which would be 8 a.m. tomorrow, 115 miles per hour, which is a major hurricane. After that, 36 hours later, 140 miles per hour. And right after that, 48 hours, so this would be 11 o'clock on Monday morning, 155 miles per hour with gusts to 190. Folks, this may be a little bit conservative with this forecast. The National Hurricane Center rarely forecasts the landfall of a Category 5 hurricane. But we're going to see what happens with this evening's update at 5 p.m. and the 5 a.m. update on Sunday morning. National Hurricane Center may indeed make this a forecast for a landfalling Category 5 hurricane in Jamaica. Look at the forecast for 60 hours, which is 8 o'clock p.m. on the 27th. That is Monday evening at 8 p.m., 150 mile per hour winds coming on shore, blowing into Kingston, Portmore, and all of these areas that are very vulnerable to storm surge. This is where the airport is located as well, the main airport, which would be totally inundated by storm surge if this forecast comes to fruition. So I'm going to be straight and to the point for this update. I will be back tomorrow for a more detailed briefing to show you some more data and information. This is the GOES satellite imagery, the 1 minute data that's updating, and it's incredibly disturbing. What you can see here is not just the curve of the storm itself, and you can see that right in here. These are heavy thunderstorms, but this area right in here is explosive development. I've turned on the GLM data, that's the Global Lightning Mapper from the GOES satellite, and you can see that there's lightning even showing up in that area where the thunderstorms are bubbling up very intensely right now. This is a sign of rapid intensification. All the forecast models are pointing to it. The National Hurricane Center is forecasting an extended period of rapid intensification for this storm. A 75 mile per hour storm today, likely a major Category 3 hurricane tomorrow, and a Category 4 hurricane by the end of tomorrow night or Monday morning. This is output from the radar on Jamaica, and you can see rain, intense rainfall coming in some of the outer bands already. And the storm is only moving at 1 mile per hour. It will be moving to the south of Jamaica before it makes a turn to the north to make landfall in about the center part of the island. So folks, this is going to be a historic and extremely dangerous situation for Jamaica. Hurricane Melissa is now a Category 1 hurricane with sustained winds of 75 miles per hour and expected to make landfall as a Category 4 hurricane, possibly a Category 5 hurricane with winds more than 140 miles per hour. And it's not moving fast. That slow forward speed means the island could be under hurricane force conditions for many, many hours, perhaps 48 hours or more. Let me put this in perspective. When Hurricane Gilbert hit back in 1988, it moved quickly across Jamaica. The damage was devastating. Power lines down, homes destroyed, crops wiped out. But Gilbert kept moving. Melissa will not.
Hurricane Gilbert drenched Jamaica. According to Hurricanes Science and Society, coastal storm surge flooding produced tides of up to 2.7 meters. That's 8.9 feet above normal on the northeast coast of Jamaica, causing inland flash flooding from September 10 to September 14. 40% of total damages were to agriculture. 95% of all hospitals suffered damage, with only 2 of 25 escaping with minimal damage.
This storm is stronger, it's wetter, and much slower. Rainfall totals could reach 15 to 30 inches. That's enough to cause catastrophic flooding and landslides, especially in the Blue Mountains and parishes like St. Mary, St. Thomas, and Clarendon. Rivers and gullies will rise fast. Some may cut off entire communities. Winds of this strength can peel off roofs, knock down concrete power poles, and flatten entire neighborhoods built with lighter materials. The power grid, cell service, and water systems could be down for days and possibly weeks. Roads between Kingston and Montego Bay may be blocked by fallen trees, flooding, and debris. If you are in low-lying coastal areas, places like Old Harbor, Morant Bay, Port Maria, or Sav-la-Mar, you need to move to higher ground now. Storm surge and pounding surf will flood those areas quickly once the core of the storm gets close. More than 881 shelters are on standby across Jamaica to accommodate persons during and after the storm. Shelters across the island are open. Go to a solid, concrete building if you can. Bring supplies for at least 3 days: food, water, medications, flashlights, and batteries. If you have elderly family or neighbors, help them get to safety tonight. This will be a long-duration, life-threatening hurricane. We've learned from Gilbert that the recovery takes time.
All over the island, 50% of the domestic water supply, storage, and distribution facilities were destroyed.
Help does not come for a day or so, even from within the country, because the roads are blocked, they have to be cleared, transportation has to be gathered, and so on. And so people really have, for the first few hours, to depend on their own.
But preparation right now will save lives. Citizens are encouraged to prepare emergency kits and avoid non-essential travel in vulnerable areas. Stay safe, stay calm, and do not wait. Conditions will go downhill quickly once the storm gets closer, and it will be impossible to navigate outside when the core of the storm reaches land. Prime Minister Andrew Holness emphasized preparedness, resource accountability, and a commitment to protecting citizens during the storm. We will be back with another update tomorrow. Until then, please focus on the necessary things you need to survive for 1 to 2 weeks at least. This is not going to be like Gilbert in 1988. It's going to be a much longer duration storm with much of the island devastated. We'll be back tomorrow with another update.